Hello and happy Halloween! Instead of the usual fare for Warrior Cats As, we are doing Warrior Cats as their terrible Halloween costumes for a terrible fictional party where they have been invited. Essentially, what I'm going for here is the costume that the character would have put on and not the costume that the character literally is. So it's Warrior Cats as the costume that Warrior Cat would pick out. But I'm still starting basic with Firestar, who is a sheet ghost. Graystripe is just wearing cat ears. He planned to have a good costume all year, but then he forgot when it actually came around. Sandstorm is wearing a hoodie sweatshirt of a strange color in the same wig that she's put on since 5th grade. Ravenpaw and Barley are a farmer and a cow. Bluestar has passive-aggressively dressed as a StarClan cat because it's the scariest thing she can think of. Whitestorm is a Jedi. He doesn't know which one. He cannot tell you which one. Snowfur is wearing full-body unicorn pajamas and calling it a Halloween costume. Thistleclaw's in some generic serial killer costume. It's pretty much just a mask and a knife. Lionheart is a lion. He's a lion every year. Sometimes he's also a lion on people's birthdays. Brindleface is wearing some sort of generic disco outfit. Longtail is Beetlejuice. Dustpelt is dressed as a dad. This is embarrassing for all of his children. He keeps saying, "It's me, Dad." Tigerstar is a king. Broken Star is a wrestleman. Stonefur is dressed as The Rock. Cloudtail doesn't have a costume. He's telling everyone he's a Samoyed. Leopardstar is wearing the same king costume Tigerstar has on, but is denying it. Yellowfang is dressed as a witch, and she hasn't broken character all night. Crooked Star is a massive inflatable sloth. Tallstar is wearing Ocelot's taco costume. Oakheart is Santa because he realized that the party was tomorrow and he only had this in his closet. Mapleshade is Hot Jason. I understand this is what she should be, but it would also be what she self-identifies as. Darkstripe is wearing nothing but a Peter Griffin mask. He hasn't even bothered to put a button-up shirt on, he's just wearing the mask. Sorreltail and Brackenfur are in a cheerleader's couple's costume. Thornclaw and Blossomfall are taking their kids to Bible study instead of letting them trick-or-treat. All of their kids, including Stemleaf, are currently sulking at that Bible study. Cinderpelt is wearing an uncanny Pikachu costume. Spotted Leaf is wearing a green dress. She tells you she's Tinkerbell. Scourge is not wearing a costume, but everybody thinks he is and asks him what anime he's from. Misty Star wasn't invited. Ashfur is wearing cosplay repurposed as a Halloween costume. He has to explain his costume repeatedly. Ferncloud is wearing a fursuit. Yes, I understand that I am making a very strange picture of Dustpelt and Ferncloud walking around this party. Brambleclaw stays home because he's self-conscious and doesn't want to dress up in front of other people, and then he just tells everyone that he fell asleep. Tawnypelt is a pirate. Squirrelflight is a devil. Leafpool is an angel. Crowfeather is also a devil, but didn't realize Squirrelflight already had it covered. Purdy is in one of those blow-up dinosaur costumes, but nobody knew it was him inside. One Star is Firestar. Hawkfrost is dressed as the Joker. Mothwing has dressed as a StarClan cat, but it's somehow less passive-aggressive than Bluestar's StarClan cat costume. Kestrelflight is a bee. Jayfeather is dressed as a minion, but he has no idea he's a minion, and nobody will explain to him why they are giggling. Hollyleaf is dressed as Shadowstar and has to explain her costume to everyone. Lionblaze is in the same full-body Scooby-Doo outfit that he's been wearing for 15 years. Bumblestripe is a politician man. He's wearing some sort of politician outfit. Briarlight is also a minion, but she knows she's a minion. She also knows Jayfeather's a minion, and she thinks it's hilarious. Daisy is wearing a big sweatshirt that says Halloween Mom and has some head boppers on. Berry Nose is a sports guy. From a sport you might have heard of. Cinderheart is dressed as the Grim Reaper. Poppy Frost might have had a costume at some point, but she's already taken it off. Breezepelt's costume makes everybody uncomfortable, but he insists that everyone's just being sensitive. Somebody assumes he's dressed up as something other than he intended, and he cries. Soul is dressed as Soul in a hood. Heathertail is wearing a generic nurse outfit. Dovewing dressed as a clown. Everyone keeps making fun of her. She doesn't understand because she doesn't use the internet. Ivypool's just wearing one of those horse heads. Tigerstar II is dressed as an evil clown. Flametail is a shark. Leafstar is a kitty pet. Hawkwing is dressed as a werewolf. Alderheart is a red M&M. And Sparkpelt keeps chasing him around as person riding a velociraptor. Needletail is a bat. Twig Branch is dressed as 3 parts of old costumes that she found around the house because she couldn't decide what to wear. Violet Shine is Link from The Legend of Zelda. Tree doesn't have a costume and spends the entire time trying to describe Samhain to everyone. Petal Shine is a mad scientist. Grey Wing is dressed as a knight. Clear Sky is dressed as a big glass of beer. Thunder is the front end of a horse costume, and Lightning Tail is the back end of a horse costume. Turtletail is wearing one of those picked up by Slenderman costumes, but she's drawn a face on it, so now it's a picked up by a 2-leg costume. Tall Shadow didn't wear a costume, but she still has to explain who she is to people. Windrunner is the Flash, as suggested by Don't Ask... literary and creative genius ahead of our time. River Ripple is dressed as a hippie. Probably. Actually, those might just be his normal clothes, we can't tell. Starflower is just wearing inappropriately short clothing and calling it a costume. Bristlefrost is a vampire. Violet Shine has dressed Rootpaw and Needlepaw up as Legend of Zelda characters, but neither of them can tell you who they are. Shadowpaw's costume is unimportant. What is important is that he's judging everyone here who didn't wear a costume and putting them on a list.